Well, good morning, everybody. This is A Country Life. I'm Jennifer. I said it a little differently this morning. Must be because I couldn't sleep last night. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That is not like me. I am not normally a person who cannot sleep, but I woke up at 3 o'clock. I was hot, so I turned on our fan and I laid there, and anyway, I ended up getting up. I watched a gardening video. I read, then I just sat and stared outside until it started to look a little bit light in the east. And then I tried to go back to bed, and then I laid there, and then I wanted to chit chat with Warren, and I knew that he was not having it. He was not ready for the wake-up call. And so I just decided to get up. I have the coffee going. I'm going to get outside here first and water some flowers. Yeah, so it's early still. I think it's like somewhere between 5 and 5:30. And I'm just gonna get out and water my flowers. Because like I said, yesterday we were supposed to get a good amount of rain. We didn't. We got just barely 1/10 of an inch, and I have lots of plants that are like under the eaves. I have to get those watered. It's also a Thursday, so I'm going to grab my jug of Tiger Bloom. We're gonna get outside and do some fertilizing here. And it is just a gorgeous morning. I guess it was what, ouch, I just rolled over my toe. I guess what really got me wanting to get outside and do some outside stuff is that, again, it's supposed to be super hot this afternoon, and so I thought it would be good to just get some of my outside things done when it was a little bit cooler, which would free up. Maybe we can go and do some swimming later or something. And then also, I guess just watching the brightening of the morning, it was just so beautiful. It was like kind of a peachy sky, and the fog and everything. There's no peachy sky anymore, but the fog up earlier, a little bit earlier, the fog was sort of like lifted off the pond, and now it's almost settled back onto it again. But it was just such a beautiful morning, and I thought, let's get outside. I don't do anything fancy when it comes to fertilizer. I just keep milk jugs filled in this wagon, and I'm just going to add, some of them are empty right now. I'll just add fertilizer to these jugs, go around and water. All right, well, it's about to get loud here. Warren just came out, and with the heat, he wanted to get the sprinklers going for at least an hour this morning. So yeah, so goes my super quiet, peaceful morning. Although honestly, I don't mind the sound of the irrigation engine. It's kind of soothing. It's just something I've gotten so used to over the last 26 years that it's like, it just feels like home. It just feels like home. I'm sure some of you that grew up on a farm or whatnot, you have some of those same things. You know, you remember like maybe the sound of the early morning tractors or the irrigation or whatever it is, and it just sounds like home. Jen Chapin's video, her most recent video here, it's called something like $4,000 for a sponsored video, being truthful with my audience, or something like that. And anyway, she was just kind of talking, responding to a comment that a person had left saying, "You've changed over the years." And I've gotten a couple of those comments, not actually too many, but at least not in a negative tone, the way the comment seemed to be aimed towards her. And kind of her point was, of course I've changed. I've been on YouTube for how many years? I hope I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. Whether on or off YouTube, we all are changing. We're all growing. So maybe our core stays the same, right? But we're always growing and changing. We're gaining new knowledge. We're picking up new hobbies. we're succeeding and failing at new things that we try. So as someone with a YouTube channel, we often are just sharing those publicly. And I haven't really ever gotten this where someone is like, oh, you used to do this and now you don't do that as much anymore, or whatever, in a negative way. But I do see those comments on other channels, and I think, you know what? We all do it. We all try new things. We all grow and change. And isn't that what, like, as a mom, that's what I want for my kids. I want my kids to try new things. I want some of the things to be things where they go, wow, that was better than I expected. And other things where they go, wow, I really thought I wanted to do that, but no, I'm finding that it's just not me. And that's okay, right? Isn't that what we want for our kids? And I think we should want that for all of our friends too, that it's okay for our friends, whether they're in real life or whether they put themselves out there onto YouTube or social media somewhere, is to be like, oh, look it, they attempted a cut flower garden and it worked. Oh, they attempted a cut flower garden and then they came to us 2 months later and said, I killed the whole garden. You know, I mean, it happens. Things like that happen. And we just kind of, as a YouTube creator, I find that people can be pretty harsh towards us. I don't think that I get it a lot. I've had a few, like I said, but I don't get it a lot. But people can be really, really harsh towards other women, especially, I notice on YouTube. They try something, it doesn't go as they had planned. They move on to the next exciting project. And like, that's okay. I mean, one thing I'm finding from doing this, like trying to do 15 minutes a day of just sort of decluttering, most of my clutter is actually not clutter as much as it is unfinished projects that then just look like clutter, because I can't get rid of it because I think, well, I bought the supplies, I want to finish the project, but in my brain I know I'm never going to finish that project. So good thing I have Maria, because she was the instigator behind making those tie blankets in that video that we are going to be delivering to the Humane Society. And it was a project, but it became clutter, and now it became a project again, and now it's going to move on someplace else into, you know, become something useful somewhere else. So anyway, I know I feel like I'm kind of tangenting all over the place here, but I mean, if I can't tangent with you guys, then who can I tangent with? Because if you are noticing that maybe my content is changing, I guess my comment back to you would be like, yeah, you're right, it is. It does change because I change. My family dynamic changes, my spiritual growth changes, my mental health. Obviously, our mental health is changing throughout our lifetime. Our wisdom, hopefully I'm gaining. Hopefully that's like a constant increase. But as I age, I mean, different things become important to me. I mean, things now at my age, I'm 51, things that are important to me now may not have been super important when I was like 45 or when I was 40. And, you know, I have grandkids now, I have a married daughter, I have engaged. Have I mentioned that? I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Ooh, the cat's out of the bag. We have 2 engaged kids. So that is just, you know, life changes. And as a lifestyle vlogger here, which is mainly what I guess I would call myself, lifestyle and food vlogger, and sort of farm vlogger too, right? As our life and circumstances change, so does our content. Okay, I should stop yammering because that was not what I was thinking I was going to do here this morning. I thought I was actually gonna get out and just like get some quiet work done. So the original plan, everything is fertilized. So the original plan was to go down to the garden and do the hand cultivating in the area that I didn't put the weed guard fabric on this year. And it's just way too loud down there. And Warren started up the garden sprinkler. So I thought I would come and work a little bit in this neglected area. Last year I did such a good job keeping this area up, but as like an area ages and the weed guard fabric underneath the rocks starts to deteriorate and you get more oh, I don't know, whatever, more biomass, and it starts to rot down. It kind of creates some soil, and you just get more weeds growing. So I have seriously neglected this area this year, but I'm just going to get in here and start pulling some of these really big weeds to begin with, clear out the wheelbarrow, because I didn't even put flowers in that this year, and I'm also thinking of doing a little trimmeroo of the dogwood. Okay, so as with anything, progress over perfection, right? So the progress so far, well, what was intended was I was just going to kind of go through, get all of the big tall weeds that were growing. Some of this clover, it needs to just get a little bigger before you can actually pull it, because it's so fine. I don't know, it just doesn't really pull very easily. That was the intent, was to really just kind of get rid of the weeds that were sort of like here, and everything that was under the bird feeders over here. Well, there was, I think, a cherry growing under my burning bush, so I got rid of that. I wanted there to be space between the boxwood and the burning bush here, or euonymus, and so I trimmed back the boxwood. I trimmed some of the boxwoods a little bit. I pulled spireas that were starting to move over into the boxwood area. I pulled a bunch of spireas there. I don't know what's going on with this spirea. I mean, it looks like I have a different variety moving in. I don't know what's going on with this one. Eventually, I'd like to trim these all the way down to like 8 inches, but probably not until late summer, early fall. I'm thinking like September-ish, because I still want them to look kind of greenish now, and they're going to look dead once I cut them back, but they will come back. Then I moved over to the dogwood, and that was just growing into the house over the spireas. It was just getting crazy, and I had kind of a vision. I think I hit the vision for it to look a little more tree-like. I cut like all the bottom stuff. You can see all of this mess here, and then one thing led to another, you guys. This year my blueberries did nothing. I mean, I picked 5 off this morning. Oh, there's another one. Okay, 6 blueberries this morning. Last year, off of these couple bushes right here, I picked quite a bit. I mean, enough to bake with and to eat fresh. And this year, that was it, besides a couple early ripening ones, like 3 or 4. The problem was all of these roses. So we have, I don't know if it's called an English rose, a farmhouse rose, I don't know what it is, but you pretty much just plant it anywhere and it grows and it takes over. So that whole area back there, everywhere that looks like I cut anything out of, was just covered in roses. Now last spring, so spring of 2022, I actually came out and I cut all of the roses down that were over in here. And this right here, all of this is all of the biomass that grew from last spring of 2022, then overwintered, and then came back this year until the end of July here. So for anyone who's like, oh my gosh, she cut down all those roses, you know what? It's going to grow back. I am 100% sure. And I really want my blueberries to do something. They're not going to do anything this year, but I do want them to produce. And what's happening is they're starting to grow out over the lawn, because they're trying to move away from the rose bushes, because the rose bushes are so heavy, they just push everything down. So that is what happened here this morning. Now the sprinklers, you can tell it's quiet, so the sprinklers are all shut down. So what I'm going to do is go grab my hand cultivator and get down to the garden here. I think I'm going to ask Warren if he can just bring a tractor over here today at some point, and we can just load all of this up into a tractor and carry it away. Well, I hear him actually driving right now. Well, looks like he went up by the house. Okay, I'm gonna grab this, go put this away. All right, well, the deer flies are coming out. And I just hand cultivated this area. I even was able to get between the corn. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to, you know, move through the corn without breaking or hearing some of the leaves snap, and I was good. So I just got all of this hand cultivated. I can't believe I haven't used this tool earlier. I know Warren used to tell me I should use it, that his folks did, and I don't know, it just never seemed to work for me. But I have figured it out this year, finally. You know, you can teach an old dog new tricks sometimes, I guess. So everything is looking good. A video is actually going to be coming out today that was filmed on July 15th, I think. So that would have been like just about 2 weeks ago. And so you'll be able to see the garden then, and now you'll see it here again. The carrots are really growing. I mean, just in the last couple days, they must, I don't know, maybe they like this heat. The onions are doing well. I haven't pulled an onion yet at all, so I'm not really sure on the size of them, but their stems are looking good. The beans, for as slow a start as they got, they are doing they're just doing fantastic right now. Lots of blossoms starting, so hopefully within, I don't know, 7-8 days, get off of me, you deer fly, I should start having some green beans. Is that about how long from flower? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever really counted it. This other variety is also blooming. These have more tendrils. I'm wondering if I should bring some stakes. I mean, I say that out loud, but am I actually going to do it? I don't know. Bring some stakes down here for them to climb up, because right now they're starting to like tip and wanting to move and attach to whatever else. So the tomatoes, we did have another ripe tomato, but it was one that was just like sitting on the ground. So I picked it just to be sure that it didn't completely rot. But we have lots of green tomatoes. These Wisconsin 55s are looking great. I feel like maybe the tomatoes could use a little bit more, maybe a little more fertilizer, but maybe now that they're getting some more heat, they're liking that. Peppers are finally sizing. I know peppers like the heat as well. So I should say the pepper plants are sizing. Actually, a couple days ago, Peter and I picked two, not huge, just like palm size, small palm-sized peppers. Well, look, one just like this. So just a couple days ago, we picked a pepper that was just like that size, 2 of them, and we each just ate them up right from the garden. We were so excited to pick those. Not much is happening with the jalapenos down here. I see a little red, but look at that. Look, can you guys see that? It's got like a blemish on it, and it's mini. We'll see what happens with those. We have zucchini. We've already picked our first 2 zucchini, and it appears we have another one there. And we have a baby zucchini in there. And that's it for right now. This, oh, we have another one right in there. Looks like I have a cucumber, finally. There's a cucumber. We're just going to wait for them to size up a little bit, and they'll just be for slice eating, or for fresh eating, because I only have 3 bushes. It's a great time of day with the sun being out like this on the east to just look at all the beautiful blossoms. So we do have some pumpkins starting. They're only about 1.5 inches or so in diameter, but we do have pumpkins. And the watermelon here are surpassing my greatest expectations. Let me just show you one of our icebox watermelons right there. I do need to look up how big these are supposed to be. Let's see, can you, there, maybe you can see it better like that. I do have to look up to see how big these are supposed to be before picking. I don't know if they're like supposed to be like a small soccer ball or an extra large softball. I don't really know. And I know there's some more watermelon in here, but I'm not seeing them right now. We have beautiful cantaloupe. There's one. There's another one over there. There's one someplace over there. Cantaloupe are doing very well. They started off pretty well, though, I would say. It's really the watermelon that are just, I mean, really, really exceeding my expectations. Because, as you know, they nearly died. And I have winter squash, which, what variety, or do I have anything? I don't even see any blossoms yet. Nope, but there was just a bumblebee, so that must mean something is going on in here. Maybe it's just looking. It's just looking just like I'm looking here this morning. No blossoms on the winter squash yet, but that, you know, that's to be expected at this time of year. Well, I was just kind of doing some of my morning housework. Everything's kind of out of order since I got up so early and ended up going straight outside rather than kind of doing house things first and then heading out. So I am going to get some laundry here going. I don't even know exactly what is happening. I just have to, it looks like I've got laundry that needs to be it has to be put away. And then I have towels that need to be folded. And why is that closed? Okay, and I have to fill up the washing machine with another load. So that's it. Just going to kind of transfer all of that over. Since I never had any coffee this morning because I was just like woke up wired, I'm going to have a cup of coffee right now. It's still actually just barely warm, and we're going to sit down and play a few games. What do we got going on today? I forget the names of these.
We're playing Sharks Are Wild.
Oh, right. Sharks Are Wild.
Sharks Are Wild. It's a game by Hoyle. And it's really fun. Like,
it is a fun game.
It's a card game, and if you want good, like, it's multiplayer, so like the most you can play is people can play is 4. But it's really fun, and if you don't want to play that, they have 2 other games, which are Catch and Fish and Piggy Bank.
Okay, we don't have those at all, and then we're going to play Splendor. Both of these are games that I know that I've shown here on my channel before.
This is a Golden Greek. What is that?
Geek, Golden Geek.
What does that mean?
It's just an award. It won an award in 2014.
I'm glad I got it.
So I bought some new shades, and Warren is going to install. I actually just bought one. These are called cordless cellular, is that what these are called, right? Cordless cellular shades? No.
So.
Yes, the cordless cellular shades. But I only bought one because, one, I wanted to check for the coloring to make sure that it kind of blended with the wood of our new windows, and just I wanted to make sure that everything fit and that we liked how they were and that they were high quality. So hopefully once they're installed we actually like the quality of them, because you really can't open it. I don't know, maybe we could open it without it being installed. I'm not sure. All right, well, I thought this was going to be, what did you think? 10 minutes at most?
Well, you know, it would have been a lot less if I wouldn't have busted the one bracket.
That's true. But yeah, I was thinking this was just going to take 10 minutes, and I can't get any, just the lighting here. But I absolutely love these. Where did you go? Could you pull it down?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe if I go like that, then we can see it a little bit better.
Ready?
Yep, I'm ready. They do have little clips that you can clip on that look like this. You clip on to pull them down. But with it being a wide window, at least I could barely reach my arms from tab to tab. And to have 3 tabs, I mean, you can only hold 2 tabs at a time anyway. So we just took them off.
I
just went like that. And I love it. I love how the color, even though we can hardly see it here in the video. Maybe if I step way back. You can hardly see in the video just because of the outside lighting, but it just blends right in with the wood, which is just what I was going for. So now I'm actually going to order ones for the other windows. So I definitely want to put a shade here, because this is the west window. We still have the the stickers on. Maybe we'll keep them there forever.
No.
Like Mini Pearl.
No.
But I want to get one for this window here because we like to close that to keep the heat out. And then I definitely want to put one over there on that living room window as well. And then, well, I guess just our bedrooms too. So, all right. Those were great. I got these through Amazon. They're the brand Barissa. That doesn't really mean anything to me, but I have seen that they are available at other places like Hampton Bay brand, which I think is a Menards brand possibly. So yeah, they're available at other places too, in different colorways and things like that. So I can't claim this idea. A friend of mine told me that they installed them in their uncle's or in her uncle's house and that they really liked them. Hey Joe.
Hello.
You're still sporting the rosary necklace?
Yeah.
You know, you're not supposed to wear a rosary around your neck.
Necklace.
I know. He loves it so much, so. All right, well, we are going to have an afternoon, early evening, whatever. It's 3:30, and we are swimming. It is hot, 98, 100 degrees, something like that. We've got Eska. She's moved in for the weekend.
Almost 100.
Almost 100. We've got Warren's. We've got his new tube.
Yep.
It's going to go on its maiden voyage today.
It's gonna happen.
And we're just going to have a good time.
Got my land shark shirt on.
Land shark shirt. You are set. We are going to just enjoy some heat. Is it refreshing, Peter? Can you hear me?
No.
It's pretty warm. I wondered if it was going to feel refreshing or pretty warm. We've had so much dryness this summer that the water is really going down. So I kind of wondered if it was going to be refreshing or just too warm. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. It's not often that I can talk Warren into stopping at 3 or 3:30 here and going swimming with us, but he's doing it.
I'm doing it.
For me.
Yep.
Well, we're just continuing yesterday's vlog today here. Warren and I went out last night, kind of date night, went to like a music competition at a local bar and grill. That was a lot of fun. Okay, now today, Joe is actually starting he's starting a new program today. So he's going to be going with a person and another young, teenage boy, and they're going to be doing some different activities and things like that today. So we're just in town, and Maria and I are going to head to the nail salon, and then we're heading to the Humane Society, and just all kinds of things going on here. Well, Maria, let's look at our nails first here. Okay, Maria's. I love your nails so much. That lavender and the flowers. I went with, I think this was called Pink Tulle. Just a light shimmery pink today, and now Maria's.
Societies.
Yep, she's gonna.
Oh, I need them for the animals here.
Yep. She made some nice tie blankets, so let's go see if we can turn them in.
Yeah.
Billy's not there. Chica's there. Oh. They say not to put your fingers in the cages though, okay? Cute.
Who are you?
This is Puffy Pajamas.
No, this little girl.
Oh, down here?
Oh, that looks like Queen.
Oh. So we're home now, and I just transferred laundry from the washer to the dryer. I'm starting up another load in the washer, and I was just thinking, if you're ever just watching my videos, someone else's videos, and you start to experience the whole FOMO, fear of missing out thing, when you see somebody else doing something fun, you're like, oh goodness, they're always doing something fun. No, they're not always doing something fun. Sometimes they're just reading the mail and making phone calls and transferring over laundry, and that's just life, right? Isn't it? I mean, that is part of being able to go and do some of those exciting and fun things. Sometimes you have to just make phone calls and check on prices of tickets and how, you know, what the times are, and, you know, all those little things like that. And, you know, sometimes you have to like call family members and visit and, you know, visit with them, and it's not all super fun and exciting activities, you know, one after another. It sometimes looks like it in a video because the boring things definitely happen. It's just we don't always show them. I mean, I do. Here we go. There's some Tide. Tide Hygienic Clean is what's going in there today. I mean, how do you make that exciting, really? Tonight's supper is going to be super easy. I'm just going to fry up some eggs. We've got some cheese. I have hash brown patties, sausage patties, and I have some buns and bread in the toaster. We're just gonna make egg sandwiches, have some blueberries, some watermelon, and probably some strawberries too. Right here. How much egg do you want, honey?
That's good. Nice.
Like that?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Do you want to?
Yes, please.
Do you want it on or
Just on the side?
on the side?
And
Do you want a sausage on your sandwich?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No. You gotta look for sheds in the spring.
There you go.
Yummy,
So are they
yummy.
all-
Yummy, yummy.
No.
And then there's fruit over there too. Yep, there's strawberries, watermelon, blueberries. Well, supper is all finished now. If you are not in the habit of making like basically egg McMuffins at home, you have to start. They're just so absolutely delicious. And everybody is happy when I make that for supper, like everybody. I'm just sitting down. I'm going to work on getting a video out here tonight. And I get asked quite often, like just in my regular everyday life, when someone finds out that I have a YouTube channel, you know, they want to know like how much time do I put into my channel? And I would have to say, like just say for example today, this morning I worked on editing a video and working with a brand for about 2.5 hours, from around 8 until 10:30, maybe not quite 10:30, 10:20, somewhere in there, 10:30. Throughout the day, did I do anything? I don't think I responded to any comments or anything else throughout the day, so not a whole lot the rest of the day. And now here it is, it's like 6:30 or something like that. Supper is all done, and I'm going to work on getting video out. So I have to like work on the description box, and so when I'm working with a brand, they have specific, you know, they give me the link and the code and stuff like that, and I have to get that into the description box. And so I think I'm probably going to be working on this for about 20 minutes or so, and then I'll probably quick look at comments, because I did put a video out last night and I didn't have a whole lot of time today. I just didn't take the time to answer comments, so I'll probably answer comments for about 15 minutes or so. You know, today being at 3 hours, it's not my biggest day of YouTube work, but it's also not obviously a day that I spent the least amount of time either. I have to actually film this rain because it's just, it's so great.
Oh, I know. It's been a while since we've had rain like this.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, Sam. Hey. How we doing?
Did you take that out today?
No, I did like Monday,
Oh, okay.
Tuesday.
How's work? Long. Yeah. Probably gonna go down forever. Same like I said, more like leadership stuff. So I had to do 2 meetings today. So, yeah. I like harder than actually work on the floor.
Good morning. I hope I'm not biting off more than I can chew here when it comes to editing, but I'm just going to keep this video rolling here. I feel like the last couple of days I didn't film a whole lot, and I'm in the kitchen here this morning. I have blueberries. The kids and I picked on a couple different occasions here, and so I want to get those, at least some of them, made into blueberry, what I call jelly jam. And I suppose I could get this out here, but what I call jelly jam is basically I follow a jam recipe, but I run it through my food strainer to make it more of a so the consistency is more of a spread rather than, you know, it's not clear like a jelly, but it's also not full of chunks like a jam. It's just going to be like a smooth puree. If you've had my cranberry sauce, it is that same consistency, but blueberries. So I have out my Sure Gel, and I wanted to make a couple batches, but I see I only have one box of Sure Gel. So I don't know when I used up the other ones. Usually I like to keep some on hand before the season gets going here, but I didn't. So I have one, and I have 6 cups of blueberries washed and measured out here. I'm going to just kind of like get all my things in order. I'm going to get my food strainer set up. I'm going to get water put into my water bath canner. I have jars over here. I need to add some more hot water to this. I'm getting those soaking so I can get those washed. And if you are like new to canning, something that requires a water bath can is usually a good place to start. And also just have everything set up. My inclination is to just rush into it, wash the fruit, get it on the stove, and all of a sudden I realize, wait, you have to like work quickly once things come to a boil and you add the sugar and everything. So just take it from me, a person that wants to just jump right in. Step back for a second and just get all of your stuff set up so that once you start the actual processing of the food, you know, you can keep it going without running into a little snafu and, you know, burning something or something like that. Right, so I'm going to put my fruit as well as the Sure Gel packet into my kettle here. I'm going to add a smidge of butter. That just helps so that when I bring this to a boil, it's not going to foam up as bad. It will probably still foam, but without the butter, it will really, really foam. So I like to just stir this first. I'm going to get my heat turned on now. And I'm going to stir and stir this because I want this to come to a full rolling boil, but just without it burning as well. I just brought my sugar over, so I have that handy. And I think in one of my last videos, someone had referred to, they said I was using a spoon in something. And if that was you, I didn't go back and check the video to find out what spoon you were talking about, but I'm wondering if it's this spoon here. This is from Rita Cutlery. I oftentimes pick these up. I mean, they go along with all my knives, with all my Rita Cutlery knives as well. I pick these up at like Mennonite stores, and you can get them. Rita Cutlery has a website. You can get them on Amazon. Anyway, I don't know if this is the spoon, but this is one that I like. And I also have this slotted one as well. Actually move to my back burner here. I'm just going to keep on stirring and slightly mashing the fruit as I go here until it comes to a full boil. So here's a quick visual. Everything is starting to juice nicely. I see some boiling. I'm still stirring. The thing I love about this spoon, though, is that, see how it's flat? When you scrape along the bottom and you go to the edges, that corner on the spoon is getting in the corners, or in the corner of your pot, and the flat edge is actually scraping the bottom. So it's not like, a rounded spoon that you're never really able to scrape the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna have to be working quick here, so camera has to get put down. I put all the sugar in at once. I'm bringing this back up to a boil with the sugar in, and I need to boil it for 1 solid minute. You have to stir this continuously, otherwise you risk scorching or burning. I will stop for a second just to see if it's boiling. Okay, at this point, I'm going to get this mixture poured into the hopper up here. Can I set my camera up to be able to see that? It's very, very hot and splattery.
Yeah, splattery, yeah. Up for the cup. Are going.
Typically when I pull out my food strainer, I really don't like to do one batch of anything. I like to just keep it going because it is, it takes some time to clean this whole thing up. But like I said, I only had the one thing of Sure Gel, and so this is it. I wanted to get this done, and so I was willing to do it for just one batch today. So what happens here is all of the pulp and liquid goes here, and all of the skins and seeds come out over on this. I had to check if the camera was getting it, and it comes out of this little chute here and falls into that bowl. And then just the auger in here just keeps spinning and pushing the skins out that way and the pulp this direction.
Ow, that hurts. Yes, but skin, it just pulls skin off.
It does pull the skin off.
About skin off of there.
Sometimes I like to take some of this and put it back in so it kind of pushes everything through.
Okay. Burning hot.
It is burning hot, is right. Can I come over this way?
Okay, Jennifer. Princess, one more.
We'll have to wait for it to push some through.
That's why I want more.
Yeah, so running it through a second time really does push a lot more pulp out. You get more yield from it, and you don't have to do this with all things. Like I don't do this. I don't run all the cranberries back through twice. Just usually one scoop, just enough to push the sauce through. But yeah, I just look at mainly the deciding factor is if what is coming through the chute looks a little juicy, I will then push it. I'll put it back through for a second time, because if there's a lot of juiciness left in there, you know that you're missing out on some of the good pulp. So you're gonna try to run it through, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You can just take a little spoon. That spoon's kind of big to fit through there. Okay, now push that down into the little hole. Push that down into the hole.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Now.
Good. Okay, so I can tell that it's done because no matter how much I crank, nothing more is pushing through the sieve. Just wait. That's hot. Just leave it there, honey. You just want to make sure that you scrape the sieve and get all of the pulp from the sieve. And then stir it really well to combine the liquid with the pulp.
Oh my Jennifer is so...
Hi there.
It's so awesome.
It is awesome, isn't it?
Hairstyle.
Oh, you like my hairstyle today?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, it's your day? And stop clicking too much. Where's that? And stirring in. You're about 2 minutes. And ready to go.
Thanks for the tutorial, Joe. Okay, so I have my jars all washed here. I'm gonna just let them drip for a little bit here, and then I'll flip them over, get the jars filled. This was just an idea I saw recently on Bucket List Homestead. I think that's the name of her channel. And I was like, why am I not filling my jars on a tray with a paper towel? Because you get drips and it gets messy and everything. So anyway, I just thought that was a great idea. So now I'm using it. And that's the great thing about YouTube, is that for those of us that are creators, we just welcome you into our kitchen and you get to see the things that we do that you say, well, that was a good idea. And you also get to see the things that we do that you go, well, why in the world are they doing it that way? Right? That's the beauty of YouTube. Yeah. See, I already made a drip. And when you're following a recipe for a jelly or a jam, or I mean really anything that you're canning, and if it says it's going to make 6 pints, it's always best to have a few extra washed up and ready to go. Sometimes you just get a little bit more yield. I mean, sometimes you can get less, but sometimes you do get a little bit more yield, and you want to be ready and not have to stop and go wash more jars and that kind of thing. All right, I'm going to wipe the rims. I actually only got 5.5 pints. I wish I would have brought up, or sorry, these are half pints. Sorry, I only got 5.5 half pints. I wish I would have brought up one of those little tiny jars and had ready. So that's another tip for you. Sometimes to have a couple different sizes so that at the end, if you have just a tiny bit left, you can put it into one of those little mini jars. I'm just going to get each of the rims as well as the threads wiped with vinegar. Okay, we're going to get our lids on. All my talk about being all ready, I had filled this, set it on the stove, and forgot to turn it on. So now I have my canner turned on here. I'm going to wait for it to come to like a strong simmer. And at that point, I'll put the jars in, bring it to a gentle boil, and boil for, what does it say, 10, 15 minutes? And it says to process for 10 minutes.
B squared equals 784.
So I'm in here just minding my own business, making my jam spread here, and I overhear Warren. A squared plus B squared, 1024 equals divided by.
Hey.
He's got drawings, and why don't you just let us know what you're doing?
I'm putting lights in the shed for the graduation party, but I have to do the math so I know exactly where they have to go so everything equals out.
Oh, God. You would think that you're like designing an engine or something, and you're over here hanging lights.
Well,
That's all right. I'm glad, because I kind of like things even too. So.
So that means this part of the, so 20 feet times 2. Okay, so, all right, so that'll go 56 feet.
All right, he's got it figured out.
All right, and that'll allow, okay.
I have just about 5 minutes left here on the water bath canner. But I just wanted to point out to you that when using the food strainer, if at all possible, if you are at the point in your life where you can just wash up the dishes immediately, when you're doing something like jellies, jams, applesauce, cranberry sauce, all those types of just fruit, sugary things, basically if you wash it right away, burning hot water with, like, wear a pair of gloves, burning hot water will just rinse everything off because you have nothing greasy. It's just sugar, and as long as it can dissolve that, it washes up so easy. I mean, I put soap and everything in my sink, but my point being, do that right away if possible, because once it dries on, then it's kind of a pain. So let me just say, I'm at a point in my life where I can do that, but I can when I was at the point in my life when I had nursing babies, and that can be stressful. So if you have tackled a canning, preserving job, and you have a little nursing baby, or somebody equivalent to a nursing baby in your life, then it can be frustrating. And I know those frustrations. If it's something that's you're passionate about, though, still go for it. Just try to set up a couple things. Well, one, either just get your brain into the space that I may have to just leave it and it's going to dry on, and I'm going to have to wait until everybody goes to bed and get everything soaking in the sink and then finally get to it. I mean, not ideal, but if you really want to can, then that might be what you have to do. You might also be able to enlist the help of somebody else in the household, if there is somebody else in your household, and maybe when you go to attend to the baby, and rather than everything just like sitting over on your counter over there just drying in place, they could at least get the sink filled up with hot water and get everything just kind of soaking in there for you. So I just wanted to say that because I know that I have a lot of older women that watch my videos here, women that are my age and older. I also know though that there are younger women that have like babies and toddlers and things like they are now here, like especially for me and in my household. It's not how it was when I had babies, because life is just different then. Life is more revolved around the care and the needs of the infants, and sometimes the things that you want to do, you kind of have to just try to fit in sporadically, and it doesn't always go as planned, but it still goes, and you'll get to the point like where I am now, where you'll be able to tackle a project actually from start to finish without life-threatening interruptions. I still get plenty of interruptions, but my kids are at the age where I can say, you know what, just go play. Mom has to do this, you have to just go play. But when they're little, it's different. All right, I just wanted to put that out there so that if you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed tackling some projects, you're not alone. And you will get through this. All right, 1 minute left. So the timer for the canner just went off, and what I like to do is just turn off the heat, take the cover off, and let this stand for 5 or 10 minutes. Then I will lift the jars out and I will put them over onto, actually just going to use my pan again here, but I am going to cover it with 2 of these like hot pad kind of trivets here, and all 6 of them will fit just perfectly on that. Oftentimes I'll use a doubled towel, but since I just have 6 little jars, they'll fit here. And look at these. Can you believe Nick made me this, I think, when he was 2? Yep, right there, Nick, 2 years old. I've had these for a long time. And Emily made me this one, and Emily was, does it have an age for Emily? Oh, hers says 4. These have served me well over the years. I needed something quick for lunch, and I found this packet up in my cupboard. And on the back side, there's a little recipe here for something called, let's get it to focus there, nacho chili dip. And so basically, I just have to brown up some hamburger. I'm going to dice up an onion here quickly. And then once the meat is browned, I need to add 2 cans of tomato sauce, the chili packet, bring that to a boil, let it simmer for 10 minutes, and then I need to put in some processed cheese spread, which is like, cheese melt, Velveeta, whatever you want to call it. And once that's, I'm making up some, once that's melted, chili nachos. Chips. And that's going to be our lunch today. I'm going to turn the heat off and put the cover on and let that cheese melt. All right, well, this is the scrap end to the coop. And I have some good scraps for those chickens today. You guys want that too, I bet. Didn't quite make it in there, did it? They love seeds so much. Well, that was easy, tasty. I'm glad I had I had like a fleeting moment where I almost was going to salt and pepper the meat as I was browning it, because that's what I typically do, and I'm glad I didn't, because between that packet and the Velveeta cheese melt, it's plenty salty. Not spicy. It's not a spicy kind of a meal, but I think that is going to go over well for lunch. All right, lunch is all done. These were really, really good. I would 100% make chili nachos like this again. We pretty much just polished off the whole bag of chips with the chili nachos. I think also what would be really, really yummy is to add maybe a third can of tomato sauce, the same amount of cheese, same amount of meat, everything, and then boil up elbow macaroni, mix that into here, and then maybe just top it with Fritos chips and kind of have it a little bit more. It could be kind of like I guess maybe just a stovetop supper, skillet meal, serve it in a bowl, you know, that kind of like that. I think that would be really, really delicious too. So this was definitely a winner.